Hey, Tim, I'm always been curious. I heard Jake talk a lot about execution, you didn't execute the way you would like, and you said that in the postgame afterwards. When it comes to play calling, is it more important to have better execution than it is to have the right play in a particular situation?
Well, with our offense, really, it starts with our triple option, and triple option is triple option. And no matter what they do, if we run it right, you could call that play every time if you wanted to. And if we run it right, we're going to get our 3 yards, 3.5 yards, and we're going to keep on our schedule as far as down and distance goes, and we're going to possess the football. But the biggest issue is, I think, when you don't execute the thing, bad things happen with the football. And when bad things happen with the football, that means turnovers and things like that. So in this offense, play selection is important in any offense, but in reality, we can line up and run the triple option every down and probably be successful if we execute.
Hey, Coach, you kind of, I guess, expected a dogfight with Humboldt going in. I mean, you said that they were a good opponent, a quality opponent. They'd be prepared. They were. Coming out of there with what, a 6-point win, what concerns you the most about the team right now going into week 2 with Montana?
Probably still our health, and that's going to be something that'll probably be an ongoing deal that we're going to have to deal with week in and week out. You lost Hal Kelly, your starting center and senior player, for 4 to 6 weeks. That's not a good thing. But hopefully we're going to get some guys back, too. So, I mean, we'll see how the week progresses and how everybody is physically, and I think that's the thing that we look forward to the most, but also probably still concerned about the most.
And besides health, were there anything else coming out of that game? I mean,
I think the message to our team is loud and clear. If we play like we played in the first half, we're not going to be very good this year. I mean, that's just being honest. If we play like we played in the second half, we got a chance to be better, but we still weren't perfect. But we played with a lot more passion, I thought, on both sides of the ball. Like I said the other night, I think that there's no question in my mind, even to the naked eye, that a faster football team showed up and played in the second half in every aspect. There was a sense of urgency, which I thought was important. They rose up to the challenges that they were given at halftime, and they accomplished the ultimate goal, which is to win the football game. In a game where it could have easily been 17-7 to Humboldt State, and everybody's saying, "Poor me. Why is this happening?" But I think the response is probably the positive that you can take away from it. We had a great response in the second half. We probably made the game closer than it should have been, but I give a lot of credit to Humboldt State. I thought they did a great job. I'm not like I don't look at things. People want to say, well, emotionally, where we were ready to play. Our guys came out there excited to play the game. I think they came excited to play the game too. And sometimes, on certain nights, anything can happen. You go back to Wisconsin and Cal Poly. You go to Ole Miss and Jacksonville State this year. It's going to happen. You just hope it never happens to you. And fortunately for us, it did not. It could have, but it didn't. So we have a smile on our face. We won at the end of practice today. I just looked at the team and I said, hey, man, put a smile on your face, take your chin off your chest, and realize this. We won and they lost. And now we'll move on to the next week. And, do we have to play better? Yeah, we do. But there's going to be a lot to be learned from that football game. And I think if our players examine themselves and do a good job as critiquing themselves as much as we're going to critique them, then I think that good things and some growth can definitely happen. And hopefully you'll see a better product on Saturday night.
And how much emphasis on ball control? I mean, that's always huge. Turnovers. I mean, there's a couple turnovers where you got the ball back and you gave it right back to them, and that's going to be key, obviously, any game, but especially against Montana.
We can't emphasize it more than we emphasize it, to be honest with you. It gets a little bit redundant. But the fact is, when you turn the ball over as much as you did, then we're going to continue to do it. And it's going to be something that's going to be honed in on a daily basis. And to be honest with you, we thought we had done a better job of taking care of the football this fall than maybe we had. And it is unfortunate that it does happen. And I don't expect us to be perfect at the end of the year, but when you turn the ball over as much as we did in the first half and still come out and win the football game, you're a pretty fortunate football team. And, we had things that we have to do, for example, the pass in the end zone. The worst thing that should be is an incomplete pass. There's a certain point in time the receiver needs to become a defender. And those things are things we preach and we work on, and it didn't happen. And ball possession, a 4-yard gain and a fumble, not good. A fumble for a touchdown, not good. You can't do those things and expect to win football games. And I think they're a good Division II school, but this week, we're playing an opponent that's legit. And if we give them that many opportunities, watch out.
You're playing an opponent that you personally know very well through the years. Cal Poly knows really well. What does it mean to play Montana?
Well, I think that, one of the things that I do know is when you play the upper echelon people in FCS, it's great football. It's one of the things we preach in recruiting. You young people, you think FCS is not FBS and all those things. Well, you play the top 25 teams at the level we're going to play at, and you're playing against great football teams. And Montana's been that type of a team for a long period of time. So we know that we're playing a quality team. You want to get fired up because we're playing Fresno State? Well, you're playing a football team that's in that category. That's the kind of football team they are. And that's the kind of team, the top 20, 25 teams in FCS, no different than playing a good FBS team. And I think we need to be ready to play great football. And if it's Montana, great. I mean, it's a great thing. It's somebody because I think they become somewhat of an icon at the level that we play at. I'm sure it's a lot like maybe SC in Florida and the schools, Texas, and those schools at the FBS level. That's who they are. And they've earned that right. And I think that I have a lot of respect for that, but I don't have any fear of that. And I don't think our players do. I think we're excited to have the opportunity to play against a quality football team and a quality football program.
And talk about the team this year that you know, Montana. I mean, their coach moved on, but it seems like they've just kind of picked up. I mean, they won by over 70 points. I mean, what kind of challenges will they present you on Saturday?
Well, I think they're living proof that players make programs. I mean, they've gone through 4 or 5 head coaches now that have all been extremely successful, starting back with Don Reed and going right through Mick Dennehy, Joe Glenn, Bobby Houck, and now Robin Pflugrad. I mean, they have a history of winning, and their players buy into that history. And that history is extremely important at the University of Montana. And I think that they've hired Robin Pflugrad, who happens to be a Portland State alum, but he is also a University of Montana former assistant coach under Don Reed. He understands it and gets it, and I think that that's been important in their transition. And I look for them to be every bit as good as they've been in the past because they have some quality players that are going to be on the field. And like I said, that's the bottom line thing. They might be a little bit more athletic at some of the positions than they've been in the past.
One of the advantages they have, they play so many games at home. They have that home field advantage. It's just famous in FCS. Now they come down here to San Luis. What would you like to see out of the fans here for the Mustangs?
Well, I'll say it again. We have great fans too. I really do. I think we have some of the greatest fans I've been around in my 30 years of college coaching. And I think that to have the University of Montana come here, I hope we greet them just like we're greeted in Missoula. So we'll give them a nice, warm, friendly Cal Poly San Luis Obispo welcome and say welcome to the Central Coast and let's get after each other. And I think that our fans will show up. I think we'll have a great crowd, and I think it's going to be an exciting football game.
Anything you can take out of last year's game? I mean, it was a great game. Unfortunately, it turned around on you guys. Anything you can take out of that this year?
I think the bottom line thing is, if you give them some momentum in their home court, they take advantage of it pretty darn good. And I think last year we got on a roll, but we had more opportunities in the first half to make a bigger difference or a bigger different statement than maybe we made as the game wore on. And I think that one of the things we've talked about is finishing games. If I take anything from it, you have to finish your opponent. And I think we had opportunities in that game, and we actually fumbled away a couple in that ball game too. So, again, the emphasis will be on ball possession, lack of penalties, making sure we secure the football. And on the defensive side of the ball, you have to tackle them because they're going to try to create you to play a game in space. The way they play the football game, they're going to move the ball around. A lot of people are going to touch it, and you got to be able to tackle guys in space.
You know anything more about Tony's head today?
He practiced today, so we're saying that he's fine. And the decision on what happens at quarterback will be made as we move along through the week.
Okay, so as far as the guys that are healthy are going to have a competition for quarterback,
I would expect both of them to play this week.
With Shumway being the other one, or
No,
Broadus?
Andre Broadus.
Okay.
And we could throw 3 into the picture if you'd like to.
How do you, how do you make that work when you were playing 2 guys? Is it, hey, you get a series, you get a series?
No, I mean, it's the same thing. I'll tell you a good story about the other night that kind of sums up the quality of the guys that are on our football team. Jordan Yoakum and Jake Romanelli, they kind of do it on their own. They kind of understand when their guy needs a blow, do a thing, because they're both great football players. Well, we told Jordan to go into the game, and just as we did that, we decided, Coach Cook said he wanted Jake stay in, so Jake ran back out and took him out before he ran a play. And there's a lot of programs across the country when you do that to a guy, the guy comes off the field and goes, hey, what about me? Where do I fit into this equation? And you know what he said? Hey, I get it. Jake's hot. Jake's got the hot hand. Let's let Jake keep going. And all Jordan did was make 3 tackles on the kickoff team and play his tail off in every other respect. I think he gets the deal, and I would expect our quarterbacks to get it too, that if somebody gets the hot hand, that guy's going to play. And if they don't get the hot hand, then maybe we'll make a change. And I think that's all going to be based on the flow of the game and how we perform with each quarterback that gets their opportunity.
And Andre practiced today?
Andre did.
So you with fullback substitutions, they sub on their own at times?
We have a plan for those guys, but they know sometimes that they can just look over and we don't care if they go like that and he needs to tap out after he's played 5, 6, 7 plays. And we know that the quality of play we're going to get from those 2 guys is, even though they're different types of runners, the quality of play we're going to get from those 2 guys is a great feeling for a coach to know that they can give each other a blow when they need a blow.
not much of a vertical passing game on Saturday. What do you have to do to develop that?
I think number 9 might help it, but we'll see. Now, I said earlier that you have a guy like him that has the ability to be as good as he is. I think we have to give him the opportunity to have the football in his hands, and that's our job as coaches to create ways. But you don't want to force the issue. And the other night they did some good things in the secondary schematically. I liked some of the things that they did. And the other thing is we became a little bit more conservative for 2 reasons. We made a statement in the second half that we can run the triple option and run it well, and that was a statement we said we were going to make at halftime. And in the second half, we ran it pretty darn well. And I think that, secondly, when we start running that thing pretty darn well, some of that vertical passing game will open up, I promise you. So I think that one feeds off the other, and I think that if we go into the game saying that we're a vertical passing team and let's force the ball down the field, we're going to make a huge mistake. If we go into the game saying we are who we are, and when we get the opportunities and prove to people that you're going to get people thinking that I have to stop the triple option, you're going to have some things that are going to open up the pass offense as well.
And finally, Coach, you obviously have to address the fact, they had 4 interception returns in that game. What were some of the things they were doing to lead to those, and what can you do to avoid that happening to you guys?
Well, we got to, I mentioned before what we call stay on schedule. We have to stay on schedule with our down and distance philosophy in the triple option. And if we get to 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9, we're not in our ideal. That's not our deal. And if they know that that's going to be there, they're an outstanding defensive front football team. Their front 4, their front 8 are legitimate players. They play 8. The one guy doesn't start, and we think he's their best player. He doesn't start. And so I think that we got to stay out of passing downs, and we got to throw the ball when we want to throw it, and we got to protect the football. And I think of the 4 interceptions that were touchdowns, 3 of them were because of the pressure that was put on the quarterback. He was either hit or the ball was deflected as he threw it. And, really, that ended the game. Their defense was the shining moment of that football game on Saturday night, and I expect their offense to make a huge comeback this week too, because they only got to play, I think, 50 plays.